Hello, fellow laser enthusiasts. This is David once again with Pineapple and Whatnots, here to talk to you tonight about turret mode. Turret mode. What the heck is that? First off, when I think of a turret, I think of this. The M1A1 Abrams tank. Right here is the top of the tank, known as the turret. The turret spins 360 degrees. Is not exactly the same thing as the turret on a tank, but a turret spins 360 degrees. This spinning is the rotation that I'm talking about when we talk about turret mode. Turret mode on a rotary for a laser engraver is turned 90 degrees facing in an upwards direction. Instead of rotating forwards and backwards, it is now rotating left or right direction. Let me show you what I'm talking about. On my PiGrip, this is how that rotates. You simply loosen these knobs and you tighten them. Now, your grip or your rotary may not work the exact same way, but on the PiGrip, which is what I highly recommend using, I love it, it works great. This does have two sets of screws that you will need to take one set screw out, and then the knobs, depending on when you bought it. Mine came with these original knobs. I found I didn't really like these knobs, and I replaced them with these M8 15mm screws. They work quite well as a replacement for these knobs. So if you take these knobs completely out, they can be simply replaced with these screws, which I think make it a little easier. These style knobs, they kind of tear my fingers up. You can see here this one is missing a little chunk, and it has cut into my skin, and it doesn't feel all that great. So once you get the thread started, you can just use your Allen key or hex key, whichever you want to call them, to tighten this up, and then you can crank that down nice and tight, and then that thing is not moving. I still have the thumb screw, or the knurled screw, not knurled screw, the thumb screw that's on the back here. So if I take that one out, take these guys, get them out of the way, and use another M8 15mm screw, I can put that into the back and get this tightened in, and then this thing does not move at all. Once these new screws are installed, you don't want it tightened down. You want it to be a little loosey-goosey here so that you can bring in your turret. Now this turret top piece can be designed in Lightburn. There is a video for doing that made by Laser Everything guys, and Kyle over at Laser Everything has a great video on making these. I can also put a description to that in the link below. Once you get that on there, don't tighten it down all the way. You do want to put a laser, or you want to put a level, not a laser, a level on here, just to make sure that this thing is perfectly or close to perfectly leveled. It doesn't have to be right at 0.00, but pretty close. For me, I think that's good enough, 0.09. I'm just going to lock that down. If you do use one of these digital levels, you do have to give it just a moment to set and test it out. 0.07, I think that's good enough for me. Once that's done, the thumb screws, or this ring, you do want to rotate that once you got this on there, just to spread out the jaws so that doesn't move on there. Now, while the laser's not plugged in, this will spin freely. As long as there's nothing engaged for the stepper motor, this will be able to move freely. Now, before you turn your laser on, don't forget to remove before lasering. Now, once you're in Lightburn, you want to select your laser. Once your Galvo laser is selected, you can go to Laser Tools and go to Repeat Marking. Repeat Marking, where we're going to tell Lightburn how to use this turret. So you need to know how many positions. I have 12 positions on my turret here, so I'm going to have a count of 12. Once you change this, if we change it to 15 and hit calculate, it's going to tell us how many different positions. Now I had 15 on here, but I decided I wanted to block off 3 for my own purposes, something completely different, but I decided I only wanted it to do a count of 12. So I have 15 positions or 24 degrees to turn, but then I only want to fill in 12 of those positions. Once that's all done, you can start your framing. So I'll get my item up on the screen and I want to hit frame. I want to figure out where it's going to step. At this point, it's not in the correct place. So as you can see here, the framing is not where we want it to be. So we want to close the framing. We're going to go back into laser tools, repeat marking, and here we can frame it, or we want to jog the machine. So I'm going to jog it 5 degrees and then frame. That's still not enough, so I'm going to close. I'm going to jog it another 5 degrees and frame. Still not quite enough. I'll continue to jog it and frame until I can see where it's going to land. Okay, I've put in a different color so that it's a little easier to see. Now I can see this is approximately where I want it to start at. This is going to be where the laser is going to rotate and turn and fill these in. So once you're ready to go, you can hit start. I'm going to change mine to 2 because I only have 2 to laser here. Then I'm just going to hit start. As you can see, the turret has now rotated 24 degrees for this design, and it's now marking the next dog tag. You can make these turrets for pens, dog tags, keychains, business cards, whatever you want to do. Anything you can imagine that you can put down and have in that same location, you can have it rotate and continuously mark all your items. Thanks for watching this video on how to use your PiGrip for turret mode.